Hey everybody, how's it going? Bill here, STL Puckhead, back with another video. I hope everybody's doing well. Today's video, I'm going to talk to you about a recent Saturday adventure that I went on to the Negro League Hall of Fame in Kansas City, and a card show in a suburb of Kansas City that I had never been to before, with Chris from Missouri, our buddy Mauricio, and Joey, who I'd met before up at Chris's house. He lives up in Chris's neck of the woods, and we just had a great time. So we left my house about 8 o'clock on Saturday morning, drove out to Lee Summit, suburb of Kansas City, to a card show. Chris was not sure of how good of a card show this was going to be. He'd never been to it before. He thought that that it maybe wasn't going to be very good, and probably 10 or 15 tables is what he thought. So we got there and we were very pleasantly surprised at the number of tables that were there. And they had a couple pretty good vintage tables set up there. So I made a pickup. I think everybody but Mauricio bought a card at this show. And we only spent probably 45 minutes or an hour there. And then we drove into Kansas City and went to the Negro League Hall of Fame Museum. And if you have a chance to go, please do. It's just awesome. As any baseball fan or any history fan in general should go to this if they have the opportunity. Me as a history geek, to me, you combine sports and history, and like that's euphoric for me. Like that's where I want to be. So for me, it was really interesting to learn the history behind the Negro League Museum, some of the trials and tribulations that those guys went through, just with the way things were in America back then, and just learn the history behind it. It was amazing. We had a great time. So after that, we ate some barbecue, and then we headed back to mid-Missouri, back home. So today, I'm going to show you the card that I picked up. I'm also going to do a VR for Dustin at Double D Vintage Sports Cards. He wants us to show cards that we just think go together. So I have a few of those pulled aside that I'm going to show for Dustin's video response. I'm sure if you're on my channel, you're already subscribed to his, because he's an amazing dude. He's so passionate about collecting vintage cards and just sports cards in general, and has such an amazing collection. So if you're not subscribed to his channel already, please do so. But like I said, if you're subscribed to mine, you're already well aware of his, because it's one of my favorite channels on YouTube. He's got an amazing collection. So I will quit running my mouth. I will get this flipped around. I will show you my pickup, and then I will get into the VR. All right, so first I'm going to start off with my pickup for this weekend. I got a 78 Topps Eddie Murray rookie card. This is in PSA 7. I saw this in the case and thought it looked pretty sharp. So the guy I bought it from had it marked at 80 bucks. And I offered him 60, and he took it. So these are currently selling in the $70, $75 range. So I feel like I got a pretty good deal on that card. I scrimped on my budget this month. This is probably going to be my only purchase, because Chris and I are working on a bigger deal for an autographed Hall of Famer baseball bat from that collection that we went through. There's one in there that I have to have. So Chris and I are working on getting that deal together. But I just wanted to show you this compared to the Eddie Murray rookie that I have in my case. So that's why I bought this one graded, because it's well centered. It's a great picture. The registration's really nice. Look how off centered this one is. So these 78 Topps, as with a whole lot of cards from the 70s, came from the factory quite a bit. Very, very uncentered, or very, very off-center. So again, this $75 price tag on this is what Eddie Murray's rookie card was worth in that February 1993 Beckett that I priced all my cards off my case off of. So that's it for the pickup this week. I'm now going to show stacks of cards, or a few cards, for Dustin's VR contest. I'm just going to show you cards that, in my opinion, go together like peas and carrots, according to Forrest Gump. And most of these you have seen before on my channel, because let's face it, my vintage inventory is limited. But these, I mean, look at that. You talk about artwork. You know, in the middle of the century, they did everything differently back then. Of course, because of manufacturing techniques and everything else. But for me, it just seems like every product they sold, they wanted it to grab people's eye. So they did whatever they could to make it look like art and be appealing. And I just really appreciate that about anything that comes from the mid-century. And again, you've heard me talk about these cards before. I think they're amazing. To me, that's artwork that should be in an art museum somewhere. So the next ones I'm going to show, I can't do cards that go together without showing cards from my 1960 top set. So here's the Mantle and Ken Boyer combo card that I like so much. I'm going to get Ken Boyer's rookie card at some point, and I need to get his 60 top set card also. And then here's Mantle's base card. I just think that's a really sharp example of a PSA 5. And then that goes nicely with his 60 Topps All-Star. So those three, in my opinion, go together pretty well and fit very nicely together. So that's one. Sorry about that. So last one from the 60 top set, because again, if you followed my channel, you've seen all these cards, and I don't want to beat you guys over the head with them and show them in every video, because that would just get old and very redundant. But I thought these go together pretty well. Master and Mentor with Mays and his manager, Rigney. And then Mays's regular 1960 Topps set card. I need to add his All-Star for my collection. Hopefully I'll do that here before too long. But I thought those went together pretty well. And then now I'm going to, well, for part of this, I'm going to go in a little bit of a multi-sport odyssey. So here are some Brett Hull hockey rookies. For me, if you think about Topps hockey cards, you can't think of Topps hockey cards without thinking about OPC hockey cards. And me as a Blues fan, Brett Hull was pretty much the pinnacle of St. Louis Blues players in my younger days. So for me, these are cards I always wanted to add to my collection when I was younger that I never thought I would ever be able to afford. This one I picked up at the shop in Colorado that you've heard me talk about on my channel. And then this one I bought a complete set of OPC, probably 2011, 2012 off of eBay, and this came in that set. It's a great set. It's got Brendan Shanahan's rookie card and a bunch of other ones in it that I plan on sending in to get graded at some point. Here we have some Junk Wax era basketball. Both two of the biggest chase cards from back in this era for me as a high school kid. Like I said, I never had either of these cards before. This one I bought off of Chris at a show not too long ago, probably a year or so ago. And then this one I pulled out of the Hoops box that I busted. So I just always really liked these cards. I was a huge fan of David Robinson. I actually got to see him back in '95 in Air Force Basic Training. They took us to Dallas Mavericks and San Antonio Spurs game, so I got to see him play in person. That was really cool. And then also par for my channel, I've always got to put a little bit of Junk Wax spin on it. Two of the bigger error cards from the 1989 Fleer set. I've got the Randy Johnson Marlboro ad sign, or Marlboro ad card. You can see that in the background. I had this in my collection since I was a kid, and pulled it out of a pack. And then once I got back into everything, I went through my entire collection and threw a bunch of commons away and all that other stuff and came across that. And then this one, I included in another video. This is the infamous FF card. My wife and I bought this at a flea market before we got married. It was probably 2002, somewhere along those lines, for $3. And so I just had it ungraded in my collection for all that time. Sent it in to get graded with SGC, and it came back a 9.5, so I was really happy about that. So there's my DR for Dustin Double D Vintage Sports Cards. I hope you all stuck around till the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the VR. I also wanted to show my Stan Musial autograph that I showed you guys that I picked up off of eBay not too long ago. I've got it framed and matted, and what a difference that makes. To me, that just looks amazing. I'm trying to figure out what to do with my last wall that I have to set up for in my man cave / card room. And this will go on my last wall. So just wanted to give you guys a peek at that. So that's going to wrap up this video. I hope you stuck around. This isn't going to be too long. I think around 10 minutes or so. So again, I appreciate everybody's support, tuned into the videos. I'm about to hit 140 subscribers. So again, I really appreciate you all. And I will go ahead and wrap it up with that. And until the next one, hope everybody does well. See you on the next one.